Welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving into a serious topic that's crucial for every American to understand. We're counting down the 10 most corrupt states in America for 2024. Corruption in politics and public offices affects us all, and it's essential to stay informed. So, let's get started. Number 1, Louisiana. Louisiana tops the list of the most corrupt states in America for 2024. With a staggering 2.00 public corruption convictions per 10,000 residents. The state has a notorious history of political corruption, with numerous high-profile cases involving governors, legislators, and public officials. The pervasive corruption affects various levels of government and has significantly eroded public trust. Notable cases include those of former Governor Edwin Edwards and multiple local officials facing bribery and fraud charges. The state's persistent issues highlight the need for stronger anti-corruption measures and transparency initiatives to restore integrity in governance. Number 2, Mississippi. Mississippi ranks second with 1.89 public corruption convictions per 10,000 residents. The state has a deep-rooted problem with corruption, impacting both state and local governments. Historical and recent cases have shown a pattern of bribery, embezzlement and misuse of public funds. High-profile cases include convictions of county supervisors and state legislators. The corruption in Mississippi has often been linked to systemic issues within the state's political and administrative structures, necessitating comprehensive reforms. Efforts to combat corruption are ongoing, but the state's high ranking indicates significant challenges remain. Number 3, Alaska. Alaska holds the third spot with 1.83 corruption convictions per 10,000 people. Despite its relatively small population, Alaska has experienced numerous corruption scandals involving public officials and business leaders. The state's isolation and resource wealth have contributed to a political environment susceptible to corruption. Notable cases include the bribery scandal involving state legislators and oil service companies, which led to multiple convictions. These incidents have underscored the importance of robust oversight and stricter enforcement of ethical standards to mitigate corruption and enhance public trust. Number 4, South Dakota. South Dakota ranks 4th, with a corruption conviction rate of 1.77 per 10,000 residents. The state's issues with corruption are often attributed to a lack of stringent oversight and transparency in government operations. High-profile cases include embezzlement by state officials and misuse of federal funds. The small, close-knit political community in South Dakota can sometimes lead to conflicts of interest and unethical behavior. Efforts to address corruption have included increased transparency measures and stronger penalties for unethical conduct. But the state's high ranking indicates ongoing vulnerabilities. Number 5, North Dakota. North Dakota follows closely with 1.75 corruption convictions per 10,000 people. The state has faced significant corruption issues, particularly in its local governments and public institutions. Cases of bribery, fraud, and embezzlement have been prevalent, involving both elected officials and public employees. The oil boom in recent years has further complicated the corruption landscape, bringing additional scrutiny and challenges. Addressing these issues requires continuous efforts to enhance transparency, enforce ethical standards, and hold public officials accountable for their actions to rebuild public confidence. Number 6, Illinois. Illinois is well known for its high corruption rate, standing at 1.42 convictions per 10,000 residents. The state has a long history of political scandals involving governors, legislators, and various public officials. Notorious cases include those of former governors Rod Blagojevich and George Ryan, who were convicted of corruption charges. Illinois' corruption issues have had a profound impact on its governance and public trust. The state has implemented several reforms aimed at increasing transparency and accountability, but persistent problems indicate that more comprehensive measures are necessary. Number 7, Alabama. Alabama shares the 7th position with Montana, each having 1.37 corruption convictions per 10,000 residents. The state has grappled with corruption in various sectors, from political offices to public institutions. High-profile cases often involve bribery, embezzlement, and abuse of power. Recent incidents include the conviction of former Speaker of the House Mike Hubbard on ethics violations. Alabama's corruption challenges necessitate continuous efforts to improve legal frameworks and ensure stricter enforcement of anti-corruption laws. These efforts are crucial for restoring public trust and promoting ethical governance. Number 8. Montana. Montana also ranks 7th with a conviction rate of 1.37 per 10,000 residents. The state's corruption issues often involve local government officials and public employees. Cases of bribery, misuse of public funds, and unethical behavior have been common. Montana's relatively small population and close-knit communities can sometimes lead to conflicts of interest and lack of accountability. Efforts to combat corruption include increasing transparency in government operations and enforcing stricter ethical standards. These measures are vital for reducing corruption and fostering a more transparent and accountable governance system. Number 9. Kentucky. Kentucky is 9th on the list, with a corruption conviction rate of 1.33 per 10,000 residents. The state has faced various corruption challenges, including bribery, embezzlement, and fraudulent activities by public officials. Notable cases have involved state legislators and local government officials. The ongoing issues highlight the need for stronger oversight and accountability mechanisms within the state's political and administrative structures. Kentucky has made efforts to address corruption through legislative reforms and increased transparency, but continued vigilance is necessary to ensure these measures are effective. Number 10. Tennessee. Tennessee also reports a conviction rate of 1.33 per 10,000 residents, placing it 10th on the list. The state has experienced several high-profile corruption cases involving bribery, fraud, and misuse of public office. Recent incidents include the conviction of state lawmakers and local officials on corruption charges. Tennessee's efforts to combat corruption have focused on enhancing transparency and accountability in government operations. Implementing comprehensive reforms and enforcing ethical standards are crucial for reducing corruption and restoring public confidence in the state's governance. Corruption undermines public trust and affects governance at every level. It's crucial for us to stay informed and demand transparency and accountability from our leaders. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more insights. Thanks for watching.